They showed you the 2025 year-end charts. Homicides down 20%, burglary down 15%. But on the street, the social contract has quietly been shredded. The truth is, the stats are a lie of omission. In cities like San Francisco and Chicago, the police haven't solved crime. They've simply stopped responding to it. Welcome to the new Lawless. We're diving into the 2026 data to show you exactly how the system broke and why your emergency is no longer the priority. To understand why your city feels different in March 2026, you have to understand the Priority 3 trap. This is the quiet retreat of the 911 dispatch system. Most major metropolitan police departments operate on a tiered response system. Priority 1 is a life in danger call, a shooting in progress, or a violent home invasion. Priority 2 involves active crimes where a suspect is still on the scene. But Priority 3, that covers the nuisance crimes. Your car being stripped for parts, your catalytic converter being sawed off, or a shoplifter walking out with $1,000 in merchandise. In cities like San Diego and Long Beach, data from early 2026 shows that Priority 2 and 3 calls now have response times exceeding 30 minutes, if a car is sent at all. The unseen truth is that by this year, many municipalities have fully automated their reporting for property crimes. When you call, you aren't given a detective. You are given a website URL. This administrative shift means an officer is never even dispatched to the scene, effectively decriminalizing property theft by default. If a crime is reported but never investigated, it disappears from the official stats, creating a false sense of safety while the reality on the street continues to rot. The infrastructure of inaction is most visible in 5 specific hotspots where staffing shortages have reached what experts call a critical red level. In San Francisco, the crisis has become so acute that federal agents from Customs and Border Protection have been deployed to assist local forces who are spread too thin to manage even basic patrols. In Portland, years of civil unrest and a massive exodus of veteran officers have led the city to outsource property crime response almost entirely to civilian responders. These are unarmed city employees who can take a report but have no power to arrest, creating a documentation-only justice system. Chicago is facing a similar workforce crisis. The city is increasingly relying on AI-powered surveillance towers to replace physical patrols in high-crime districts. While the cameras watch, there are often no available units to intercept the crimes they record. Meanwhile, in Oakland, a sanctuary conflict has emerged where local police are barred from certain types of interventions due to political gridlock, leaving a vacuum that organized crime rings have been quick to fill. Finally, Philadelphia, despite a heavily publicized 5-year plan, is seeing its PI model, prevention, intervention, enforcement, struggle to keep up with retail theft rings that move faster than the bureaucracy can pivot. This vacuum has birthed the shoplifting economy, a $5.5 billion bleed that is restructuring American retail. According to the 2026 BRC crime report, retailers have increased their spending on private security by 40% since 2023, yet their shrink or losses due to theft are at an all-time high. Prolific offenders are no longer hiding. They are hitting stores with a sense of entitlement because they know the police won't show up for a petty theft. This is no longer just about hungry people stealing bread. In 2026, theft has become professionalized and industrialized. Organized retail theft, ORT. Rings are using specialized tech, signal jammers for security tags and thermal scanners to track employee movements, to bypass sophisticated defense systems. They know the precise legal threshold for felony theft in every state, and they ensure their hauls stay just $1 under that limit. In the new Lawless, crime isn't just a choice. For these organizations, it is a high-margin, low-risk business model enabled by the lack of a blue light response. The response to this collapse has been the community responder experiment, which many critics call a Band-Aid on a bullet wound. Since 2020, civilian-led 911 responses have increased tenfold across the United States. The idea is sound. Send social workers to handle mental health crises and leave the police free for real crime. However, in 2026, this has left property crime in a dangerous gray zone. Neither the police, who are overwhelmed by Priority 1 calls, nor the social workers, who are not equipped to confront thieves, are taking the lead. This leaves the invisible victims, the small neighborhood businesses, directly in the crosshairs. While corporate giants like Walmart or Target can afford to install plexiglass and hire armed private contractors, the local family-owned grocery store or corner pharmacy cannot. As a result, 2026 is seeing a massive expansion of food deserts. When a local shop is hit 5 times in a week with no police response, they don't just raise prices, they close their doors for good. This isn't just a loss of profit, it is the death of the neighborhood itself. To fill the gap, cities are doubling down on technology, leading to an AI policing gap where governance is replaced by deployment. Many cities are now home to real-time crime centers, where AI cameras scan faces and license plates in 4K resolution. They can see the crime happening in real time, but with no officers to send to the GPS coordinates. The technology serves a different, darker purpose. It simply records a collapse for the archives. We have become a society that is perfectly capable of watching itself burn, but incapable of reaching for the fire extinguisher. This surveillance without intervention has fueled a self-defense surge, a dangerous new frontier in American life. As official police response times drop, private security spending in the USA has hit a historic peak in early 2026. We are witnessing the birth of a tiered safety system. The wealthy pay for active protection through private firms that promise a 5-minute response time, while the missing millions are left to defend themselves. This has led to a rise in vigilantism and community defense groups that operate outside the law, creating a volatile environment where the line between protection and predation becomes blurred. Can the system be saved? The verdict for 2026 is complex. We are seeing some flickers of hope in cities like Philadelphia, where the PI model is being refined to include rapid response retail teams, or Winnipeg, where new civilian police hybrid units are showing success. However, these solutions require something that is currently in short supply: trust. In the new Lawless, the data doesn't matter if the people on the street don't feel safe. You can show a resident a chart saying crime is down, but they had to wait 2 hours for a cop after their window was smashed. That chart is just a piece of paper. The most dangerous crisis is the one they tell you isn't happening. We are living through a stress test of every American institution: the police, the courts, and the social contract itself. The new Lawless isn't just about crime. It's about a system that has decided it is simply too expensive to protect the average citizen. It is a world where the law is only as strong as the person available to enforce it. We are seeing a fundamental shift in the American experience, where personal safety is becoming a luxury item rather than a civic right. As we navigate the rest of 2026, the question isn't whether the crime stats will go up or down. It's whether we can rebuild a system where a call for help actually results in a knock at the door. Have you tried calling 911 in your city recently? How long did it take for them to arrive? Was an officer ever sent, or were you told to file a report online? We need to map the true response times in 2026 together, because the official data is no longer telling the whole story. Share your experience in the comments below. Let's expose the reality of the response gap. Subscribe to Unseen Core, where we look past the plexiglass to find the truth they don't want you to see. The most important role in this story isn't the police or the politician. It's the unseen citizen who refuses to look away. Until next time, stay safe, stay vigilant, and keep watching the data.